Okay, now we're moving on to distribution mode path. So you just go to create your forest per object, go to distribution and change it to path. Now in path mode, we pick splines and it acts almost like a path, hence the name. So same as usual, we're going to click the plus symbol and we're going to add in a spline. Now I have no objects on this forest per object, so we need to go to geometry and add some. So go here, click the add multiple, and we're going to select our box, a cylinder and our teapot. Click add. It's going to say, we'll say yes to this for now, but we can change the display mode to mesh so we can see what's going on. They're not high resolution meshes. So if I click my forest per object and I go to distribution, you can see our path is added and we now have all these objects inserted into our spline. Now there's two options straight away. You've random and sequence. I'm going to explain sequence straight away and then we'll move back to random. So in sequence, it's going to put it in order of your geometry list. So if I go to the geometry list, you can see box comes first. Here's the box, then the cylinder, and then the teapot. So if I want, I can use this arrow, I can push this all the way to the bottom, and now the box will come at the end. That's as simple as that. It's just this order determines the sequence. Now if I go back to distribution, and I'm going to change this back to random. Okay, so it's randomly putting it along that path. Now the spacing, I probably want to increase so we can see it a bit better. Now the next option is in vertex position. So that means exactly what it says. So if I click this, this spline only has two vertices. So one here and one here. So it's only putting it there. I can move these and it'll stay with that spline. That's the same if I go back to the forest per object, which just in spacing mode as well. If I move this, that goes with it and updates. So in vertex position, if you want, I can then add this second spline, which I have here. And this spline has a bit more control because I've added more vertex to it. So if I can select here and I can move these along. So what's happening there is I have all these vertices and it's placing one on each vertex I have. Let's say you need to move them easily. You can do that. Now, what you might notice is as I move this, this is following. The direction of this object is following the next shape, which is what you might want or might not want. So to change that, you can go back to your forest per object and you can uncheck follow X and follow Z if it's going up and down. But what is it doing in that follow X and that follow Z? Now, if I go back to my object and I select the vertex, I'm going to just move this back into position like so, and then going to add, let's say, a bend modifier, and let's go to a Y, and then we can slowly bend this spline and you can see the objects follow. Now what you're going to notice is as I bend this, these boxes and the teapots and everything follow each other. Their X position follows each other in this case. So if I don't want that, I can select these objects and I can say, no, I don't want you to follow the X, and they'll keep their initial transform. Okay. But then if I go back to the spline again and I select its vertex here and let's move this one down, you'll see that these are following in the Z as well. So again, if you don't want that, we can go back to the bend modifier, go back to our forest per object, and we can say, no, I don't want you to follow the Z. I want that to have its separate one and you guys stay upright. But again, maybe you do want both these on and you want that to follow. Now you can also do a spline offset, which just does what it says. It offsets it from the spline. And you can also do a random position, which is added recently, and this will just slowly move objects in different directions, up and down like this. Sorry, you have to have spacing checked, and then you can do random position. You can't do it obviously in vertex position because you're telling it to be in that position. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about distribution path mode.